Hello.
There's one person watching.
So far. Hopefully we'll double that by the time the show's ended.
Oh, 2 people now. Yeah, just let it get going. Let it get going.
Yeah, we'll let you warm up. We'll let you come in and say hi. But to you guys that are watching, good evening. You're very, very welcome. Thank you for spending your Sunday evenings with us. God, you must be bored.
Hopefully, all the other outlets of entertainment, they choose to spend their evening with us.
Oh no, we are absolutely privileged. We'll endeavour to keep you well entertained for the next couple of hours, maybe. We'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. But yeah, it's been
we're all live. Yeah, we are live.
Really strange day today, weather-wise. And it's really starting to bug me, actually, this weather, because it don't seem to make its mind up what it's doing, does it, Mark?
It's supposed to be summer. Apparently, we still have this heat wave coming, which I don't mind. I love hot weather. So,
half an hour?
Yeah, half an hour. And
hi, Andy.
Good evening, Andy. How are you, sir? Good to see you. Thank you very much for coming in. Yeah, I love hot weather, so that doesn't bother me slightly.
Hate it.
I'm quite lucky where I work in the theatre. I'm right by the stage door, so I can open the door, get fresh air in. It's lovely, you know.
No, my where I work is like a sweatbox all the time, all the time, and it's like it seems to be busier the hotter it gets. I don't know why stuff breaks down or whatever. But yeah, you're soaked. Yeah, your back's drenched and you're absolutely shattered But yeah, I love winter. I prefer winter, me. At least when you're cold, you can warm up. But when you're hot, and that's it, you know.
Yeah, apart from jumping in this cold shower, you know, there's not much you can do, is there, really? Yeah.
That's a bit difficult when you're at work, and it's...
Yeah, and we have no AC units, which is always fun, which is good. So we're all on platform. Who we got coming? So usually have more people in by this point. That's interesting. What's going on? Where is everybody? Where's Mr. Sadler and?
Hello, Jamie. Very welcome, sir. We're just filling time till people sort of drip through at the moment. Drip. Sort of feed in slowly. Hi, Andy. How you doing, mate? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, Mr. Dalglish. Hello, mate. All right.
Hiya, Rick. Here we're getting an influx of viewers.
Rick. Hello, Rick. Love you, Rick. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, 10 people watching now. Yeah, it's all starting to.
It's all coming good, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Witchfinder General. Oh,
who's the Witchfinder General?
Is that Matthew Hopkins? Have we got Matthew Hopkins? I think that is Matthew Hopkins, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, hello, Matthew Hopkins. I thought you died in the 1700s. In the 17th century. Amazing film with Vincent Price.
I've investigated the Skirrid Inn, where supposedly you sent a lot of people to be hanged down on the stairwell. So I'm sure that was Matthew Hopkins.
I'm tomorrow night. Oh, mate. You weren't pinged, were you? Why have people got that on their phone? I'll never know. That app. I do not know why it's on your phones.
Get rid.
I'm sorry to hear that. That's
rid.
Oh.
Hi, Pauline. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us.
We start off.
While watching.
We start off slow and it speeds up. Trust us. We just don't want to. We don't want to get started and then have guys miss stuff. So we're just filling for a bit. Hiya, Martin. How you doing, mate?
Martin. Hello. How are you, sir? Thank you for joining us. Thank you, mate. Very much appreciated you popping in.
But we've been chatting, haven't we, Mark, about stuff, content for the show, that kind of thing.
Yes, so we've been chatting about stuff. Yes,
about content, like we do, you know.
Oh no! Look who's in.
Oh, Mandy's here. Now we've got to behave, see, because Mandy's here, right?
Beckworth Castle's just gone online, Mandy. By the way, from the other week, it's just gone online on the YouTube channel. I'll do a link in a minute.
Hi, Mandy. Nice to see you.
Good idea, Jamie. Good idea. Get it off your phone.
Delete.
Punishing perfectly healthy people.
Delete. But yeah, we were chatting, as I say, we were chatting about content for the show. Obviously, it's a paranormal show, so we've got to stick to paranormal content. But we thought, just to change it up a bit and to get you guys involved a little bit more, couple of weeks down the line, we will do a paranormal quiz. And obviously, it's not going to take up the whole show, all right? But just a quiz. We'll come up with some. All right, Nath.
All right, Nath. 4 minutes late.
Yeah, we'll come up with some prizes and that, and we'll do a bit of a quiz. You guys can get involved in it, and we'll iron out the details. I think it'll be a giggle.
Yeah, I think so.
Come up with some impossibly difficult questions. So you'll famously. Go on, what?
Yeah, you gave me a couple of examples, and I didn't know the answers to very famous cases because I said to you offline, I don't really study cases. I want to experience things. I think the cases have get very skewed over the years, especially the classic ones. But I want to experience things.
Well, we'll be fair with it. We'll do it from sort of all facets of the paranormal, from UFOs, ghosts, cryptids, Bigfoot, all that sort of stuff. Shadow people.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got to talk about shadow. Now, that's something I don't know a lot about, to be honest, because I don't get it. I really don't get it. A shadow person to me is an apparition in the dark, to be honest, but we'll look into it. We'll give it a fair shot. Same as everything else, We don't believe or disbelieve in anything, We're open-minded skeptics. It's like, show us the evidence, and then we'll make an opinion.
And as Nate says, don't forget the orbs and the demons. Ugh. We should do a show on orbs, just for a good laugh about it, because people are still presenting that as evidence.
Well, can we ask Zach Baggins to come on then if we're going to do that? Because he's still shouting about. I was watching it last night, and
I can't watch any of them. I know how TV works. I can't watch them.
It's like driving past a car crash, mate. You've got to look.
Yeah.
And it's painful. It's painful. But we debunked it as not being dust or in. How did you debunk it? Tell us how you debunked it. They won't do that, will they? You just said something really interesting. People say, I'm sure you and I have done it quite a few times. Oh, we debunked that. How did you debunk it? What was your method and your terminology? That how you do it? What information have you got to debunk something? No, I think they've just gathered round the screen and gone, oh, that's not dust. That's not insects. And that's them debunking it. Bunch of idiots.
I'm sure he's a very nice chap. I don't know him, obviously, at all. But it's meh. It's meh.
No, to me, he seems a lot like a lot of the guys on these shows. They seem a bit disingenuous. It seems to me they don't believe a lot of what they're saying themselves, and it's all for the hype, all for the TV. Because as we know, if you was to make a TV show about an investigation, it'd be boring. Because it's just like 6 hours and nothing, followed by like a minute of hype. Sometimes you get absolutely nothing all bloody night, So
no, exactly, which is more often than not.
That'd have made it worse, Nath.
Yeah. There's some my friends, I know well. I've been known them for years in the paranormal field, and they're still presenting orbs as evidence. And I just rolled my eyes, thinking, they've got quite big followings as well. So. I should invite them on and say, right, tell us why you think that's a spirit,
Now, look, for balance, not everything is dust or clothing fibres or insects.
I think it is.
I've not seen anything that has impressed me so far. So orbs might be a thing, all right? And I've got to practice what I preach, saying we give everything a fair share.
But that's with the naked eye. That's something completely different. I'm talking about stuff you get on camera.
Yeah.
But people see them with the naked eye. That's totally different. Different.
The fuzzy balls in the daylight are usually dust, and at night when you see Bilbo Baggins on his ghost adventures, and it flies past the camera and he starts screaming, it's the same dust, but it's caught in the IR light, and it confuses the hell out of the chip inside the camera. And it just shows them up as these bright, fuzzy orbs. And because it changes direction, he thinks that's important. But air currents don't move in a straight line. They swirl around and all that. People are breathing. And that's enough to move a dust particle in the air or an insect or whatever, So grow up a bit,
come on. Invite them on, Mark. It'll be an interesting discourse. Yeah, that would be interesting. No, you ask, if you ask for an orb to appear in a certain place and it appears in the right place at the right time, then maybe I'll start to believe it. Yeah, that's never happened. I don't think it ever will.
No,
You know. Why? And also, why is an orb? What's that they say? The first part of an apparition or something? But
the first
full apparitions.
Yeah, the beginnings of a full like something manifesting. They say, but
they're just making stuff up. You know, all sounds like we're right. We're doing this a long time. I'm sure there's stuff we've done in the past. People saying, "Oh, that's bullshit." You know, I hope not. Always like to think that at least we're honest and genuine.
But no, I mean, I don't get excited. I've never got excited about stuff that could be something else. I go, well, that's a bit interesting, you know. And if that's coupled with something else, there's been very, very few occasions that I've actually thought, what the hell was that? You know, I ain't got a clue.
Yeah, very few.
I can't even start to think what that could have been. And we used to get sent like hundreds of photos. People would send us photos of orbs, and in the nicest possible way, you've got to say, sorry, I don't believe it. It's dust. You know, it's dust. And then you go through the whole rigmarole of telling them about the press release that Canon and Fujifilm gave out, explaining why these things happen in the cameras. Take it with old 35mm film and send it to me. If you get orbs with that, I'll be well impressed, because I've never seen one.
I have orbs on 35mm film from the 90s.
Well, there you go then. You've got ghosts.
I find a good Hoover gets rid of orbs. Yeah, it does, Pauline. I do apologise. But about 9 o'clock, if Gareth doesn't mind, I've got to disappear for about 30 seconds. I've got to attend to something from my mum. So,
all right. So you're not off your 9 o'clock poo then, or anything like that?
No.
Oh, okay, that's right.
So he can. Oh, Gaz gone. So we've got 20 watching.
That's cool.
Thank you very much. Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you for choosing to spend your Sunday night with us. We are very, very, what's the word?
Honoured.
Chuffed. Honoured.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We love it.
You've got Amazon. You got, I don't watch mainstream TV, but you got all that stuff. And
yet they choose to spend it looking at us pair of idiots talking rubbish. Anyway.
Yeah. The most obvious explanation is usually the correct one. If you're in an old abandoned building, there's probably more dust than ghosts. Yeah, exactly. But I still think ghosts are.
We were saying, we said the other week, didn't we, about recreating it? You can easily recreate it. So if you can do that, then that is to me debunked. You know. So if you catch a bright yellow glowing orb flying through the sky and disappears through a wall, you know, then that's a little bit more interesting to me. But these swirly lights and these fuzzy balls, over it. Totally over it.
You know, if we're saying off air, we should invite some people to come on who do believe in orbs, that they're paranormal, to argue their case. And we're happy to listen to it and be convinced. Otherwise, I don't think I'll be convinced after 20 years of doing this, you know, but I think I believed in my first couple of videos about Spiral Paranormal series. I think I believe that something could be going on for about 5 minutes, maybe 2 early episodes, but I quickly clued up.
Yeah, sorry, it's knife.
Gaz is a fan of fuzzy balls. Oh, Gaz, the moderator I see now on the Uprising.
Yeah, I do like things tidy, knife.
It's very good. Great.
I'm saying on that. Yeah.
Really good group, that. I'm really interesting posts and everything.
It's great. It's gone mad. Nath and Luna, they have really. I think when I joined, there was like 100 and something, and last time I looked, they were one short of 800.
Wow. And we've only got 60, and we're not growing very much on Facebook at the moment.
We will, mate. But it's gone. The page has gone viral, and it's incredible to see. And people are feeling like it's a safe place because they want to post their pictures on other sites, but people take the piss out of them, and it gets nasty, and people get booted, and this, that, and the other. Well, Uprising is a place where you can do that without fear of ridicule, and that, you know, people will give their opinion in the nicest way, and there's never arguments. And if there are people being blatantly nasty, size 10s, mate, you're out. And that's how it should be.
Yeah, I've never understood that. I've been on the internet like most people, 20 years, 30, 20 since mid 90s. But but since social media took off, sort of 2004, 5, 6, 7, around that time, I don't think I don't do negative comments. I don't understand why people need to do it. I only deal with positive stuff.
Just
if I don't agree with it, I won't comment. It's as simple as that. I won't comment. Mandy, I had a really interesting experience with the music box last night in one of the cottages at Manor Farm. I can't be asked to type it all here, so I'll tell you all about it and we'll see you next. Okay, interesting.
Manor Farm.
That with the pigs.
That's a group, by the way, guys. If you've not heard of them, not literally.
Yeah, probably the pigs. Paranormal information gathering service run by Tim Brown, who I've known for years. And Mandy and Kerry do stuff for them. Yes, it was.
Yeah, they are good guys. I mean, there's a lot of events companies out there, and a lot of them it's like an ego trip, and you are paying for them to investigate, and you feel like you're in the way,
Well, I think something, when you do public groups, this is not a knock on anybody who does paranormal events. Is it a paranormal investigation, or are you running an event? That's the big difference.
Yeah,
that's the big difference. I think you're running an event because you could be in one place. And then you suddenly ushered off to the next location for tea breaks, and you're off. I don't think I could do them anymore. I've been guests on quite a few of them and helped out, but I don't know if I can do them anymore.
Yeah, well, I'll be fair to the pigs guys.
If I was with anybody, it would be them. It would be them.
Yeah, they do run a good gig then to them lot. So I've been on a few of them now, and it's really good actually.
Good. They're good people, very good people.
Rick, I like the way your brain works, mate.
The pigs are a great name for the band.
Shall we get down to it?
Let's get down to it. Do you want to start, or should I start?
Do you want me to do me news?
I don't know how you do it, though, Mandy. I don't know.
More intimate with four people.
Yeah, but you don't know them. That's the problem. You don't know who they are, so you don't know if they're easily susceptible.
You might get a screamer.
Yeah.
It's like you say, sometimes you start pulling teeth, if you've got a group. Because I've had my own events company in the past, and I've worked for other events companies. And sometimes it's like pulling teeth. People don't want to get involved. They're there, like the geezers are there because the wife dragged them along or something like that. But other times it's incredible. If you're into people watching, it's brilliant. It's ideal. You see people's reactions and how they react to a certain situation, because when you first started, you was really excited and up for it and a bit scared, but when you've done probably 200 or 300 investigations, it's a bit same. But it's that enthusiasm is infectious, and I love that. I do like it. So shall I do a bit of news?
Let's have some news. Sorry, yes, I was
a bit of news.
Let's have some news.
Now, both news stories this week are from a page that I've been on for a little while, and I can't tell you the proper name of the page, but it's IFL Science. I love science.
Oh, I love that site.
Brilliant site. So I was reading an article about the Fermi paradox. Now, if you've not heard of the Fermi paradox, it goes in conjunction with the Drake equation. Now, stop me if I'm boring you, but
no, go on. I can explain this as well as you. Go on.
Cool. Yeah, the Drake equation is basically a mathematical equation that shows how many planets in our galaxy may be inhabited through a mathematical system. The right size planet, the right distance away from a star, the right kind of star, all that. And you come up with a number, and it works out as millions upon millions of possible civilizations in our galaxy alone, which is about 200 billion stars, 100,000 light years across. Okay. So the Fermi paradox says, okay, we're willing to believe that. So where is everybody? Millions upon millions of civilizations, where is everybody? Even with the distances involved, where is everybody? So we're talking, the universe itself is about 14 billion years old. Okay. The Milky Way we live in, the galaxy we live in, is about 13.5 billion years old.
About that.
And the Earth is quite young in comparison. It's only about 4.5 billion years old. And what they're saying, this new kind of idea that they come out with, was a guy called, now I'm going to say this name wrong because it sounds very Chinese, Liu Xishan, Cixins, Xishan, or
right.
I don't know, but anyway, she's written a book, a sci-fi novel called The Dark Forest, and in this book, she's come up with the idea that the reason we haven't been visited as much as we should have been, is because she's likened it to a hunter in a forest. Everybody is too bloody frightened. If there is a civilization out there that is more advanced than everybody else, then that civilization may become the hunter, and all these other civilizations are going to become the prey. You know, they are going to want to steal their resources, and the quickest way to do that is to kill on sight a possible threat from another civilization. So all these civilizations might be laying low. Not us. We're sending probes here, there, and everywhere, and all our radio signals are going out into space. All right, they've not been going out for very long, but eventually one of these civilizations might pick up on it, and if it is one of these aggressive hunter civilizations,
I've got a bit to add on to this.
We could be in the shtuk. And I think Professor Hawking actually, Stephen Hawking, he gave out a bit of a warning about this. I don't know if you read that, Mark. It said, you know, we shouldn't be actively looking, because, for instance, if we're walking in the forest and we see something that scares us, the first thing we want to do is kill it or step on it, you know, like a big beetle or a big spider. We want to squash it. And we don't feel bad about that, the majority of us. You know, it's like, move on. Well, a species that is like 1,000 years, say for argument's sake, 1,000 years ahead of us, how much remorse are they going to feel by squashing us? You know, so it's a theory, yeah. It's called the dark forest hypothesis, that one. So it's an idea.
Can I add something to that from a more science base? I mean, you know, there's for the Fermi paradox and that Drake equation, you know, there's within the Milky Way galaxy itself, millions of potential civilizations. Now, we're doing it from a human perspective of an independent state that we're going to meet some of these civilizations could have died out millions of years ago, so there'll be no trace. Some of these civilizations could be in distant galaxies. Now, we're part of the local galaxy group, called the Virgo supercluster. Okay, there could be galaxies billions of light years away that harbour life. We are not. They don't know of our existence. We don't know of theirs. And once again, they could have died out millions of years ago, or haven't sprung up yet. Or we could what they could be called a rare Earth, a rare civilization. We could be the only civilization in the whole universe. Very doubtful. Very doubtful. But yeah, we need to look at it more than just the Milky Way and the size of the universe, you know. And, you know, whereas we're sort of conscious beings now, you know, other civilizations could still be at the stage of primeval, you know, if that's the way they evolve. Remember, it doesn't have to evolve the way we evolved. So yeah, we're all doing it. What's the word I'm looking for? Oh, God, we're all looking for the time that we're all existing at the same time. And, you know, we're not. As you said earlier, 14.8 billion years, the age of the observable universe.
Yes.
You know, so it could be civilizations that haven't come yet, civilizations that died out millions of years ago. So we might not know. But yeah, it's interesting. And all the radio waves going out into space. If you look at the Milky Way galaxy, find where the Earth is. Say you've got a picture of the Milky Way galaxy, and it's about that big. And if you get a maybe very, 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 very small prick of your finger and a little hole, that's all where our transmissions have gone. Not very far at all. It's only in a very local area. They haven't gone out to the other side of the galaxy yet. That takes hundreds of thousands of years. We've only had radio waves for 150 years, probably.
Something like that, yeah. But it is mind-boggling. I mean, if you want to get an idea of what is involved in the universe, have a look at the what was it called? The Deep Field Image by the Hubble.
Oh, yeah, the deep field image, yeah.
And it looked at an area in the sky about the size of a postage stamp, which is nothing. And you'll see all these thousands upon thousands of what look like stars, an area the size of a postage stamp. It's not, they're galaxies. Yeah. And our galaxy isn't a particularly big galaxy. And they're estimated, like I say, about 200 billion stars.
Well, it's only coming up to 100 years since we found out that we're not a single galaxy. It's only 100 years ago that Edwin Hubble discovered the redshift, and we were part of multiple galaxies. Yeah, which is not going to sign.
Have a look at that image, and you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about. They're saying
one of the best images ever taken.
I think they were saying years ago that for every grain of sand in every desert and every beach, there is a star in the sky. Well, they've sort of changed that now, and they're saying that they think for every grain of sand on every beach and every desert, there is a galaxy. So are we the only life? No, we can't be. You know, is it visiting Earth? Well, the evidence is leaning towards that at the moment. You know, there's something very, very weird going on. And it is overwhelming evidence. It really is. Which we, as a show, we will be looking a little bit more into. I think next week we are looking more into the paranormal ghost side of it, spirits, that kind of thing.
I mean, that's a very good point. You know, from Rick there, we are, despite our delusions, still a fledgling species. We haven't had a heavy industry in the last 200 years. You know, what we're going to discover in the next 100 years is going to be remarkable. I'm very optimistic about the future.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Wendy. Evening boy, they're probably here already and looking at us going, what the fuck? Yeah, I probably are. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, there's stories from the moon landings from a lot of the astronauts that are Edgar Mitchell, for one. There is they're saying that they were followed the whole way to the moon. Armstrong and Aldrin were saying that apparently there is a transmission doing the rounds that says they are here, they are sitting by a crater, they are watching us. So I don't know if there's any truth to it, but you imagine if you saw a species, if we were studying a species, watching them take their first steps into space, their first steps to another planet, we'd want to document it, wouldn't we? We'd want to see. I'm just hoping that for all you Trekkie fans out there that know about the Prime Directive, I hope they've got something a bit like that. He's not a Trekkie holic, him.
Well, I don't watch him anymore because I've got more on bloody streaming, but yes, bit of a trick.
He's such a geek. But yeah, hopefully
I do like girls. Been out a load of girls as well, you know.
Oh, yeah. But hopefully they've got some kind of directive like that that's non-interference, but we'll see.
Yeah, I love that map, Nath. Yeah, the one you saw on Cosmos, where mankind didn't arrive to 11:59 on New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
it's very insignificant life in the. We are insignificant, but also totally unique and important at the same time from your own perspective. That's very true. Yeah.
Which that kind of leads me on nicely to my next news article, which this is going to blow your brains. This one, it's got a lot of mathematics in it.
Good. I love hard maths on a Sunday night.
It's great. I don't know if you've seen these images online of these gigantic skeletons that are being. I mean, this isn't really paranormal, but it kind of is at the same time. These massive skeletons, like 60-foot tall skeletons that people are excavating, huge skulls and things like that. Have you seen anything like that, Mark?
Yes, I have. Yes.
You have come across it.
Oh yeah, I haven't paid much attention, but it's very interesting.
It's quite, it is. I mean, they're quite compelling photographs, except they're not real photographs, but they are quite compelling. Well, there is a news story on the same site that says the Vatican and the Smithsonian are in cahoots, and they are hiding the knowledge of these from the public, and they are getting as many remains as they possibly can and chucking them in the ocean.
You mean because the Vatican's hiding something? Surely not.
You said that, not me. They don't want our idea of evolution messed up, which is kind of confusing because what I think evolution is and what the Vatican think evolution is are two different things anyway. But anyway, a depressing number of people are believing in this, But if you do a little bit of a Google search, back in 2002, Google did a competition where they said, do a fake archaeological dig, show us a picture of a fake archaeological dig. And this is when all these pictures started springing up, to be honest. All right. So it's photoshopped. Now, back in 2002, it's good Photoshop, but now it's really bad Photoshop if you look at these pictures properly. But there is some science behind why it's a load of arse gravy. And I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. So why can't you have... Sorry, mate.
No, it's
why can't you have a 60-foot human? Well, basically... it states that as the size of an object grows, okay.
What about gravity?
Whether it's a cube or a person, you are governed by something called, where is it? Oh, this even boggles my mind, and I wrote it. It's basically to do with the cube of the size. All right, I'm going to explain why. So you bear with me on this, okay? I'm going to try and do it.
We'll come to your comments in a minute, guys. We'll just hear this. I want to come to your comment to me because it's interesting.
Right. Its volume grows faster than its surface area, basically. The area grows in proportion to the square of the size, whereas the volume scales up in proportion to the cube of the size. You maths guys, you're going to get this straight away, but the rest of you will struggle like I did. Now, basically, if you scale up a person to 10 times the height of a 6-foot person, she is obviously 10 times taller, but he would have to support 100 times the volume in weight. Staying with me so far?
Yeah.
So the bones would have to be a lot thicker than the ones that you guys are seeing in these iffy photographs. So a cubic inch of bone can support about 8,600 kilograms. Now, I was surprised when I read that. 8,600 kilograms per cubic inch. They say bone's stronger than steel, don't they? So, yeah, it's pretty impressive. So if you scaled up an average 63 kilogram person to 60 feet tall, well, that cubic inch of bone would grow in volume. It would have to support about 250,000 kilograms. So basically it's crap. That's the science behind why it's crap, which we always try and do. But if you've got a headache, have a stiff drink and relax now. No more maths. So that's basically why it's a load of poo, that one. But I thought I'd say it because it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Rick, Armstrong, Aldrin and Collins, going back to what you were saying, Gaz, seem very disturbed when you look at their return from the moon interview. Surely they should have been more jubilant about their accomplishment. Well, they have just done re-entry, probably very exhausting and very, they're pretty knackered. You know. Yeah,
but Armstrong was always very sort of subdued and very quiet, and he's never really spoken about it. He became a bit of a recluse, didn't he?
Yeah, only in the last few years of his life did he start coming out and talking about it more. Yeah.
But Edgar Mitchell, for one, he's been very, very outspoken about what he saw. He's even punched a couple of people in the face, I think, who suggested that he never actually went there in the first place. So, he's pretty much convinced that it's out there and they were watched all the way to the moon and this, that and the other. So, yeah, pretty cool.
It's interesting, yeah. We're not going down into moon landings. That's
no, we're not going. Not conspiracy theories.
They landed on the moon. They landed on the moon.
I'll very, very quickly put that to bed. Why they landed on the moon? Apart from the fact that there are several
evidence to prove they did.
Moon surveyors, and they've taken photos of the landing sites and the tracks and all that kind of stuff and the footprints. They've taken photos, and these aren't American surveyors. These are Chinese surveyors and Russian surveyors. Everybody was staring through radio telescopes at that craft land on the moon. And if there was even the slightest whiff from the Russians or the Chinese that the Americans were trying to pull a fast one, they would have blurted it everywhere. All right. So we landed on the moon. End of story.
Get over it. Get over it. We landed on the moon. Yeah. Hello, Nigel. What nonsense are we into tonight?
All sorts, Nigel. You name it. We'll talk about it, mate.
Armstrong said in a press interview a few years before he died that he hoped to live long enough for the truth to be revealed. I did not know that. That's interesting.
Well, you've got when they were landing on the moon and walking and talking and doing what they were doing, there was two channels: a public channel and a private channel, and there still is on the space shuttle missions when they were up, the ISS missions. But there were people on Earth, these ham radio operators, that were tuned into these frequencies, and apparently there is a story that says what I said earlier. You know, Armstrong said, yes, we can see them. They are on a crater. They are watching us. And so I don't know how much truth there is to that, but
I'm probably a bit open-minded about that kind of thing.
But also in the same breath, Mark, if you wanted to study the human race, where's the best place to put a base to do it? On the back side of the moon. Because that only one side of the moon ever faces.
It's camouflage ever, isn't it? Yeah.
So, you know, there are stories that as they were traveling around, because they didn't go up to it and land on it, they had to orbit it and lose altitude and this, that, and the other, and actually go into a lunar orbit. Michael Collins went into a lunar orbit. And there were stories that all sorts of things were seen on the backside of the moon. All sorts of, because although it's dark to us, it would have been lit to him. We sometimes see half the moon lit, which means half of the backside of the moon is lit. We call it the dark side of the moon because we can't see it, but it does get lit. And there are photos out there, and there are people coming forward from NASA that it was their job to doctor some of these photographs and actually
I've heard of
make
that.
certain bits fuzzy, you know. So what were they seeing? What did they find? But,
I mean, there is a base on the other side of the moon. I do hope they can survive all the meteor strikes that happened. If you've seen the dark side of the moon, there are pictures, of course. There's so many meteors, right? And also the solar radiation as well. How do they get? Well, I'm sure they're advanced civilizations. I'm sure they can get around that.
Yeah,
got to look at the logical side as well.
They're not as prevalent as they used to be. I mean, during the formation of the solar system, we were bombarded relentlessly. And the story is that's where our oceans came from, the bombardment of comets and things like that. And maybe even panspermia, you know, weird word, I know. But they're saying that they've actually studied these comets, flown probes into the tails of them. And they're saying all the building blocks of life are in there, the complex amino acids and all that kind of stuff are all in there. So maybe that's why
we're made of star stuff, aren't we? As Carl Sagan said.
But we could all be Martians. We found bits of Mars on Earth from meteor impacts where they've actually hit Mars and it's actually reached escape velocity and come all the way to Earth and crash landed. So there could have been microbes in those meteorites that kick-started life on Earth. You know,
well, I want to be identified as non-Earth specific, as we seem to be the trend now.
That's probably best way to be, mate. To be honest.
Yeah. Unit 8, Area 51 did the doctoring of photographs, apparently. I'm so annoyed. I did a road trip around West Coast of America 10 years ago with my friend Trinity. Because of our schedule, we really wanted to go up to sort of near Area 51. We wouldn't have got very far, but we never really
seen much.
Oh, I'd love to have gone there.
You've seen a dirt road, that's about it.
Yeah. All parts of the moon surface get full sunlight except for the poles, just like the Earth. Now, Nigel is he's an encyclopedia of wealth. I've got something to light down a bit. I've got a new lamp. Oh, Nigel Sadler, what don't you know about? Tell me something you don't know about.
Well, I like it when he agrees with me because because I could be sitting here making this up, you know. If you can't dazzle him with brilliance, baffle him with bull.
As Marvin, the paranoid android, said in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, why would I want to make anything up? The universe is as depressing as it is without wanting to make anything up. Anything more up, I did that really badly, but you know. You can get near it in a thermos suit. Get near what? Oh, I see. Yes, sorry. Robert Krauser, of course there's life as well as us in the universe. It will be idiotic to think, absolutely. The math, say the Drake equation and the Fermi paradox, it pops to me. But I'm saying not all civilizations are probably at the same level of evolution. You know. It could there's a lot of speculation. There could be microbes in our own solar system, which would be just blows everything apart. You know.
Yep. Enceladus is looking favourite at the moment.
Yes, it is.
The moon Enceladus is looking good. So hopefully we can. I mean, that'll have massive knock-on effect for the rest of the galaxy alone, let alone the rest of the universe.
That will be the single most fantastic discovery ever made when that
in
happens.
history of history.
And I say when it happens, not with, but when.
It will. Either we will discover it, or whatever is visiting us will actually land on the White House lawn, which and we'll know for definite. But yeah, we'll wait and see, I suppose, can't we? I hope it happens in my lifetime, Mark. Just so we can find something or get to know something for definite.
Well, you'll know because your eternal consciousness will still be able to connect with those beings.
But will it? Will it be in a completely different universe, a different dimension and stuff and all that? We don't know. We don't know. We'll find out, I suppose.
And the Fermi paradox doesn't include any life living beyond our dimensional perception. No.
Exactly, no.
Yeah, another smart point of view. I like that. Yeah, that's a very good point. Very good point. I like that.
Yeah. So there, that was my news for the week.
Hey, I've got to get a jingle. I've got to get.
We will do it.
News of the week.
We will do it. Right. So tonight's show, we were actually we were discussing what to do, and I think we've had it online a bit now. Talking about ESP, extrasensory perception. Whether you believe in it or not, I don't know if I do. Jury's out on that one. But I'm not talking about, mediumship and things like that are a form of it, I suppose.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, and I do believe in mediumship because I don't like the word believe. I think there is something in mediumship.
But extrasensory perception, basically it means to gain information.
Need to gather a stack of papers and shuffle at the end of the
we'll do that. Definitely.
They all have iPads now, don't they? They all have iPads.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, a little tick thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, ESP, it's to gain information by not using the recognised senses, the five senses, sight, smell, touch, taste, and hearing. Yeah, basically. So gaining information through the brain, through use of the brain. And these are really, we're talking about telepathy, psychometry, clairvoyance, precognition, retrocognition, that kind of stuff. And it's been studied for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, precognition obviously is gaining knowledge of an event that is actually yet to happen. And retrocognition, which you think, that's going to be easy, but it's knowing about something that happened that you possibly had no knowledge of it happening. And you've got details about it and things like that. Now, I was saying to Mark, just before we come on air, actually, telepathetic. Who's
Datura? I don't know who that is.
Datura, telepathetic.
Yeah. I don't know who that is.
Lost me there, Rick. I do love these guys.
Very good.
I do. Yeah, it's actually been researched quite a bit. And it was started off probably back in the 1930s. And the way that they researched it was using what they call the Zener cards, which are now known as the ESP.
I'm literally about to mention the Zener cards. If you look at the beginning of Ghostbusters with...
That's right.
Yeah,
the Zener cards with the... I think it was a star, a square, a circle, wavy lines.
I have a picture here. Yeah, circle, a star, wavy lines, a box, and a star again. Yeah, star. Were first used in the 1930s for experimental research into ESP.
No, circle, square, wavy lines, a plus sign, and a star.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's 5 of each type in a deck, so that's 25 cards. And
the difference to ESP, the Russians and the CIA would have spent so much more money on it. Otherwise, maybe we just don't understand the process. Yeah, remote viewing and all that kind of thing.
I was trying to find information on that, Nath, and it is a nightmare. It really is a nightmare trying to find any info on that about being used for like police investigations and military exercises, things like that. So.
Look at that. Max and I got 100% with Zener cards 5 times in a row when he was little as part of an experiment with the ESP. Wow. You've never told me that. That's pretty damn good.
That is
I'm very impressed with that.
That is because the rate for it, I'll talk about this a little bit later because it is a bit of a minefield. But I think that it's like a 12% hit rate for luck or randomness. Do you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's
so
frozen.
To get, he sort of is impressive.
There you go.
Yeah, that is really impressive.
The Monroe Institute is a good place to go for info. Monroe,
I'll have to look into it a bit more. But I hit a bit of a brick wall when I'm probably looking in the wrong places.
But as you said, Gaz, sorry to interrupt you. You said to me earlier, and it's a great example of that. You walk into a room where two people have had an argument, and you sort of know there's a bit of an atmosphere.
Yeah, we do it all the time.
I think it's an evolutionary survival thing, maybe.
Yeah, but not only that, Mark. I mean, how many times have you heard of reports of people looking at their phone and thinking about somebody, and then the phone rings and it's that person?
Yeah.
How many times?
I was driving to work the other day, and I don't know why. I didn't even really know the person. This girl flashed into my head who I went to primary school with. And literally the next day, I saw her walking with her daughter across the road. And I hadn't seen her for, I don't know, years. Why would I think of some random person like that for no reason whatsoever? I haven't thought about at all, really. And then see her the next day.
But it's something that we've sort of accepted as the norm now. We do it all the time. We go into a situation. Oh, I've got a bad feeling about this situation, or it doesn't feel right in here. Something feels wrong, or if you're on an investigation, calls are up, and you could have been on hundreds of investigations, but you're going to a place and it feels evil, feels oppressive, or something like that. These all this ESP at work that we've all got that ability to do it. Is that it? So.
It's really depressing. Also, if you're around sometimes people you work with, which you just can't help, who have real negative energy. I know a few. Real negative, just drain.
Mood hoovers, I call them.
Yeah, mood hoovers, fantastic. And it's very hard to sort of tune in when you've got that atmosphere around you all the time. It's sort of a real blocker. It's a real blocker.
Oh,
I put up little. I have visage mirrors that are turned around, so they look at the mirror and it's just reflecting back to them. All their energy.
It's what we were saying, though, isn't it? We are made up of energy. What we are, what makes us, is energy, and because of that, can we sense bad energy and good energy, bad vibes, good vibes, whatever you want to call them. So. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting way of looking at it. You don't actually realise how much ESP plays a part in your life. Like deja vu, for instance.
Yes.
That precognition.
Can I point out, we've got 30 people watching. That's the most we've had so far. 30 people watching. Thank you so much.
Love it. Thank you. We do appreciate it. But that's that was going on. That Zenocard thing started in about the 1930s. A guy called. I think it was started in the 1930s. Then in the 60s,
the 1930s,
it was adopted by a Dr. Ryan and his wife.
Dr. J.B. Ryan.
That's it, yeah. And if you've never seen one of these experiments before, it's done with a sender and a receiver. Whereas one person, the sender, will sit behind a desk, usually with a screen up, and they will look at a card, and the receiver will say what they think that card actually is, and they will try and get a hit rate that is above what a random hit rate would be. Now, JB Ryan, his results were really impressive to start with, but the academics said that his methodology was just complete pants. There was so many ways in which he could unconsciously transmit what is on that card. Some were saying that the cards can be read from the back. It's really, really weird. So
I heard that. Yeah.
Over the years, they have tried to emulate his results, and they've never been able to. So the scientific community have basically said it's a load of old bunkum. There's nothing to it. ESP doesn't exist. But then they come up with the Ganzfeld experiment, which is I've never actually done one of these. I think I would like to because it looks pretty freaky, actually. Now, the Ganzfeld experiment is they put you in a room, and it's kind of a sensory deprivation experiment where you're sat in a room in a really comfy chair, usually a recliner, and they put half ping pong balls over your eyes, ping pong ball pattern up, shine a red light on you, set of headphones playing white noise, and you're shut in the room. And in the next room, there will be a sender. You are the receiver, and the sender will have a load of photos in front of him. Thank you, Nath. I will definitely check that out.
Thank you very much.
Definitely look at that. So the sender has got a load of photos in front of him, and one of these photos will be picked, and he will stare at it, and he will try to mentally transmit what he is seeing to the receiver. And as this goes on, it's usually about half an hour, the receiver will talk out loud and say, well, I'm picking up a stream or a bridge or mountains or whatever. And then when the experiment ends, he will go into the other room and he will be given this group of photographs and pick out the one he thinks he saw. And there has been some really interesting results with it, but not enough to impress mainstream science, unfortunately.
This is the problem, it's what I was saying a couple of weeks ago. The interest in the paranormal that we have, it's very hard to measure it in inverted commas in a laboratory setting.
Exactly.
If someone has psychic, or if you saw a ghost or a spirit or whatever you want to, or contact, how do you recall that? How do you? You can't. That's why science is what me and Gaz are big advocates of science. I love science, but you need measuring. There for measuring matter, basically.
Yeah.
It needs to not measuring the impossible or the invisible. That's the problem. But some scientists are quite brave enough to say, well, actually, they bring in quantum physics and all that kind of thing, which we won't touch upon because we'll make ourselves look foolish. But yes, sorry, I interrupt you there.
No, it's all right, man. I was just looking at my notes there. It kind of makes me wonder because we are. Sorry, read that one out first before I go down.
There was one story of a boat going missing, and someone who was part of the CIA experiments found it using remote viewing. That's interesting. Now, I look for stuff sometimes using my dowsing rods. Is there any difference? Me dowsing and someone doing remote viewing.
Right, so what is dowsing? Tell people, because we're taking it for granted that people know what dowsing is. So,
dowsing is an ancient practice of. Bear with 1 second, it's right here.
Oh, he's getting his rods out, everybody.
I just whack my eye out. Dowsing is an ancient practice where people use twig leaves, but mainly these days copper rods. I've had these for 25 years. And you can have a variety of outcomes for them. So if you're dowsing, mostly people think dowsing, you think water divining, looking for water, which a lot of people did back in the day. And even some, not so much now, but even some, until quite recently, water companies would employ dowsers to find water sources. I personally use them for detecting earth energy currents, which are natural electromagnetic fields that go around the earth that are a little bit more subtle than the standard electromagnetic field. So I'm always looking for earth energy currents within the sort of around my area. My latest video, which has just gone online, has a little bit of dowsing in. So yeah, it's an ancient practice. Anyone can do it. You just got to open your mind. It's a little bit of the unknown in it because no one really knows how it works. Are we channeling? Remember, we are electrical beings. But yeah, there's no explanation really, but it seems to work very well for me over the years. Good enough, probably not a good enough explanation, but we might do a show about it.
It works, mate. I mean, it's something I've tried it, but I'm not into it. But not saying I knock anybody that is. You know what I mean? It's it's each to their own.
Yeah. It's good when you're dowsing with someone else as well, who's my friend Rob, for example. We do it separately and come out with the same results. More on dowsing, please, Mark. Yeah, I will. If Gaz don't mind, we'll do a show on dowsing. There's some quite fascinating subject, actually, especially if you like what you call earth mysteries and landscape stuff, and our ancient land. Rods and fuzzy balls. Oh, suits you, sir. Does it, sir? Rods, sir.
He's obsessed. He's obsessed.
Our show, classic. Dowsing is the original Google. Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I bought my 27-year. I bought these at the hedge shop at Avebury back in the mid-90s. There's no reason you use the same rods. I could use any rods. It doesn't really matter. But I just like those rods.
You can do it with a twig.
Yeah,
you could. Twig, don't know, Y-shaped twig.
Yeah, it's really you channeling. It's really you channeling. So yeah, going back to ESP.
ESP. Well, I want to know if anybody has got any experience with this. Have you ever had a situation where that's been particularly stressful and something has moved?
If you've got a webcam, guys, if anyone's got a webcam, sorry, Gaz, to interrupt you there. Sorry, it always sounds a bit rude when I do that. But Gaz's question there, if anyone's got really anything they want to say, if you've got a webcam, come on, save having to type it in. If you want to come on the show right now, just give us a shout.
Do it.
Because sometimes people don't like typing. Oh, I'm a bit of a, typing.
Come on the show. He's going for a poo in 5 minutes.
No, I'm not going for a poo. I don't know if in 5 minutes. I'm just going to put something on TV for my mother.
Oh, right. Okay.
She's getting on a bit.
He's going to 9 o'clock poo.
No, she likes a chap called Alex Belfield on YouTube.
Right.
Really good guy.
Right, no worries. No, come on. I want to know about experiences that you guys have had. Yeah. I mean, I've had loads of experiences. So has Mark. And when you tell us about yours, it kind of validates ours. It's like if you're in a room full of people and you're doing a seance or whatever, and you pick up something, you might be too frightened to say anything because you think, people are going to think I'm an idiot. But you might have had 4 or 5 people pick up the same thing. So say it, the old, was it Roy Walker on Catchphrase? Say what you see, isn't it? Say what you see.
Professional dowsers are remarkable and often commissioned by farmers to find water sources. A good dowser cannot only pinpoint the places that sink well, but give the exact depth to drill down to. Okay. Mm-hmm. My webcam is very blurry. That's all right.
I wish mine was.
Oh, I like Alex Belfield. Good man, Andrew. Great guy, isn't he? That's not why you called. Yes, sorry. But I've been only last week I think I walked in somewhere and it's having what I call a heavy head. I don't get headaches or anything like that. Nothing. I don't think I've ever had a headache. But you just get okay, what's going on here? And then you I don't forget it. I think what's going on. I try and tune in, whatever that means. But I try and tune in, but usually nothing else happens. But it's interesting, especially when you're not expecting it. Get a bit of feedback.
Mandy's wishing her webcam was blurry as well.
Oh no! Oh God! I want to see her face on them. Oh gosh!
Right, shall we bring a bit of balance to the proceedings?
Yeah. Come on, Mandy. Grab your webcam and come on. Yeah. Sorry,
joining the madness. Right, a bit of balance.
Bit of balance, young man.
Right, a guy called James Randi. He come up with the idea of something that was nicknamed the Randy Challenge. Now, I wanted to participate in a particular Randy Challenge, but not that one. I got it completely wrong, and it was a whole different set of websites. But this particular one, the Randy Challenge, was a large cash prize if you could prove that these abilities actually are real.
$1 million.
It started off as about $5,000 and then got added to and added to and added to. And then he got corporate sponsorship and this, that, and the other. And it ended up as $1 million. And it never, ever got claimed. And it was to show that these abilities, whether it be telekinesis or ESP or anything like that, remote viewing, all that sort of stuff, if you could do it under laboratory conditions, he would stump up $1 million. Never ever got claimed. So it is a bit of a weird one, that, isn't it? You think if somebody is that, even Uri Geller tried it.
Yes, he did, didn't he? I'm very open-minded about Uri Geller. I'll be honest with you. I'm very open-minded about Uri.
Oh yeah.
I always think he's been around since the 1980s. If he really was a fraud, it would not have lasted this long. Oh, you got that. I'm sure I'm happy to be convinced of, but I don't completely shut him out.
He doesn't do anything that Darren Brown can't do. And Darren Brown admits that he's as psychic as a sock. He's got weight. He has gone. He has stood on stage, Darren Brown, and he has recreated table tipping to the point where these tables were pretty much flying around the stage. He has recreated cold reading under the guise that he could answer questions about people's lives that would be really spot on. And it's all done through this mental trickery, picking up on cues, subconscious cues of people, things like that. And Uri Geller, to me, I don't know, mate.
I mean, with Ian Brown, Stone Roses, start man for it. With regards to Mr. Brown, we've got a blank now. What's his name?
Darren
Brown. Thank you. I said before, a couple of weeks ago, I had a conversation with him about about 11 years ago. He did a big gig at our theatre, and I was talking to him backstage about, this is around the time he went for that Liverpool psychic and did that TV show and exposed him. And I said to him,
Joe Power or something. I don't know.
Power. Whatever happened to him? But he was only going after the professional mediums, and he did take it very seriously. I said, what about people who are raw psychics who don't admit it, had it since birth, and it's just an ability that they have? They're not trying to prove anything. So I said to him about how to do the paranormal stuff. I'm very skeptical, I said to him, but there is something in it. But you're just going after the celebrities. That doesn't interest me. I'm more interested in what I call the raw psychics. Yeah, he's a very lovely guy. Was such a nice guy, by the way.
Well, the reason you'll go after the celebrities is because the majority of celebrities, it's a money-making bloody exercise, isn't it?
Of course it is, yeah.
About putting a load of bums on seats and making as much money as possible, or going out doing private readings and charging hundreds of pounds for it. Whereas somebody that does it, they've got this gift, and they want to share it with the world, and they want to do good with it. They might say to someone, I'll come around and give you a reading. You pay me petrol money, so I'm not out of pocket, and I'll come and do it for you. So, I've got time for those sort of people. Or
it'd be interesting one day. That might be a nice topic, actually, Gaz.
Yeah.
About the validity, should people charge for doing psychic readings?
I've heard some horror stories in that respect.
Yeah, I've had a few.
I've fallen out with a few people over that. But I don't know what to think about it, mate. I know that Darren Brown, he's very gifted in what he does, and he has shown that some of these stage psychics, he's shown how they do it. From a certain standpoint.
Where I work, a certain one in particular, which was quite amazing. Yeah.
One got caught recently, didn't they? Got caught faking it with an earpiece in.
Oh yeah.
I'm not mentioning any names, but yeah.
I know that. I didn't know who. Oh, that's told me off air who that is.
Well, there were people in reception that were saying, write down on these prayer cards what you hope to get today. And they were going through these prayer cards out in the foyer where everyone's in the actual auditorium with the psychic, and they're being fed these prayer cards via an earpiece. And
something similar happened to our theatre. Something similar happened. I don't know the details. I'm not going to say any more. Most people I've met with a real gift can't always do it on command. It's like getting a text. They can't guarantee when messages come through. Yes, I mean, I'm going to shout out Mandy here. I'm sorry to embarrass her. One of the best raw psychics. I hope she doesn't mind me calling her raw psychic, but that's what I like to call them. They're not.
Are you a psychic in the raw, Mandy?
But just raw psychic, just goes somewhere, opens up and says, "Oh, that's what I'm getting." Like Alan Barnett, the late Alan Barnett we worked with. Amazing psychic. Go in there. Oh, I'm not getting anything. Or, I'm getting this. This is what I'm getting. Just totally honest. Nothing to prove. It's sad how
that was another thing that leads on from the ESP. There seem to be two types of people. People that can do it on cue, whether it's telepathy or whatever. And there's other people that it just happens to when they least expect it. Or in my case, it's only ever really happened once or twice. I've had a couple of weird things happen. I don't know whether it was coincidence or whether it was my brain making up a story, but it was really, really strange. So is it something that happens to everybody at some point in their lives, where something unexplained, where they will walk into a room and they will see it as it was 100 years ago, or they will be staring at their phone and then the person they were thinking about rings? Is there something to that, or is it just coincidence?
I think there's something in it. I do. Now, all you lovely people in the chat room, can you hold the fort with young Gaz for about 30 seconds? Are you gonna be all right, Gaz? If I jaff off for 30 seconds.
You what for 30 seconds?
I've got to jaff off for 30 seconds. I'm not going to weed, nothing like that. I'm going to check in on mother. That's going to be 30 seconds. You gonna be all right?
Yeah, I'm ready, Choco.
Guys, ask Gaz. You can do it to me if you want. Ask Gaz a question while we're talking about ESP. I'll be right back. Right back.
No, we know you guys. Like I say, it's quite a common gift. So hopefully you guys have had experiences where this sort of thing has happened. Nath says most people that he's met with a real gift can't always do it on command. It's like getting a text. Can't guarantee when these messages have come through. And I was talking, I hope you don't mind me saying this, Mandy, about Mandy will get a piece of information and then it'll get enforced on another location. The same kind of information will come through. Well, she won't just rest on a laurels. Oh, I picked it up again. She'll go digging and actually get that validation that proves to herself that there was actually something to it. And that is far more impressive to me, because as we know, a lot of us, all we really know about mediums is what we've seen on the TV. And these are these guys in these ridiculously garish suits, white suits. Don't know why they have to wear white suits on stage to let the energy come through. The white lets the energy come, all that sort of shit. But I don't subscribe to all that. Like Mark was saying, I'm far more impressed by somebody that isn't sitting talking to their spirit guide all day. That these pieces of information just come through out of nowhere.
Yeah, and
it just knocks you for six. Well, why am I thinking of that? Where does that come from? That's far more impressive to me, anyway. So yeah.
I totally agree with you. This is interesting. What we've got? Rick, coincidence belies a greater connection, I reckon. And Nate says could be due to energies or vibrations. I'm so much. That's my favorite word, vibration. A lot of it is vibration and frequency. Once the conditions are correct, people can get messages.
Mm-hmm.
Some people can just tune in, or just like that, When members of my family were feeling ill or distressed, I could feel it miles away. Isn't that interesting? Because you have a very strong emotional connection with your family. Emotions are very interesting. Emotions are electric. You send them out into the ether.
And twins especially. I mean, when I interviewed Guy Playfair, the guy that interviewed he stayed at the Enfield Poltergeist house for over a year. Mm-hmm. I know I bang on about that case a lot because it's a really impressive case. And Guy Playfair is a really impressive guy to talk to. Very, very learned, very intelligent. And he wrote a book on twin telepathy, which goes into what we're talking about. And there are so many cases of if you interview a pair of twins, for instance, or triplets, and they're finishing each other's sentences, and they will experience pain. Husbands and wives, a guy feeling pain when his wife's in labour. There's that connection. There's definitely something to it. We hear so many stories about that. So,
from an evolutionary point of view, I mean, as Pauline's just said, she's part of her everyday life. Messages from beyond, with Mandy. Rick says, our friends electric. Gary Newman, #1, 1979. So from an evolutionary point of view, how did that evolve? How did that evolve in people's consciousness? Yeah. I think if people who know who I mentioned him before, Graham Hancock, get a little bit of feedback, Gaz. Can you hear me? All right. Get a bit of. Let me just check the mic a second.
You got very fuzzy, mate.
Let me just check the audio here. Microphone, blue ball. Yeah. Let's try that. Interesting.
Right, I'll tell you what. Let me mute my mic and see if you still get it.
Okay. Hello. No. It's all good.
2 seconds.
2 seconds. It's nothing too bad. But if you people who know Rupert Sheldrake, Rupert Sheldrake and Graham Hancock, they're saying there's a huge shift in human consciousness about 250,000 years ago, when what they call the missing link, and that was all down to some sort of explosion in consciousness. Maybe that was the point. And I really started studying this. It's really interesting. I couldn't even do it justice. But Graham Hancock or Rupert Sheldrake, have a look into some of their work. And they are scientists. They are scientists. They've had some of their TED Talks banned and all that kind of thing. I was reading an article about a theory about the twins maybe sharing a consciousness. Yeah, very true.
That would make sense. That would make sense.
Yeah, sound is good now. Thank you, Rick. I don't know why that was playing up a little bit.
It might have been me, my volume up a little bit too high, mate, and you're getting feedback through my mic. Could be.
I hear you very well. Anna Valeria, my best friend and a twin sister could feel each other's feelings, could get weirdly ill when one did. I even got pregnant at the same time without even trying. Oh, well, I see what you mean. Sorry, I read that wrong. Sorry. Isn't that extraordinary?
So it was an immaculate conception.
Yeah, immaculate conception. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, there's some interesting tales of people who are connected that way, twin sisters and things like that. Yeah.
Well, let's look at it from the way we look at stuff. Okay, we said earlier that this fleshy pile of shit is just the vehicle Gaz uses to get around in. We've said this before.
Yeah, we're just passing through. Through.
And the actual bit, the psyche that makes Gaz is in here somewhere, and it's all firing electrical energy. So if we look at it, that when, or some word this way, spirits or ghosts, it's reported can move stuff. Okay? Yeah, there's loads and loads of footage out there of things flying off of shelves and people getting hit with objects that have been thrown.
Yeah.
So
it happened to be on camera at the time.
Why can't we do that when we're alive? It's the same energy. That energy is still there, isn't it? It's not changed.
No.
The only difference between myself and a spirit is that I've got a fleshy vehicle to move about in. Their fleshy vehicle let them down and broke down. So if they can move objects, manipulate the environment, move objects, make people feel weird, oppressed, why can't we do that when we're alive?
Well, we can. It's interesting, Gaz. A very good point. Very good point. Yeah. Maybe what? Didn't
panspermia.
What's that?
Panspermia is it's the theory that life is on one planet and it seeds another planet, maybe by a meteor impact or something like that. A microbe from a planet escapes that planet, crash lands on Earth and starts life on that planet.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Like a sperm. Yeah. Hence the name panspermia. Yeah. So it's saying basically that life didn't spontaneously begin on this planet. It was seeded from another planet, maybe hitching a ride on a comet or a piece of rock that was ejected from another planet that had microbes on it.
I know that theory. I just hadn't heard it called that before.
Yeah, panspermia.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much, especially consciousness. I'm very much unified field theory. Which is gaining more and more traction with a lot of sort of new age thinkers these days and scientists. That consciousness is not local, and even scientists can't consciousness.
But it's interesting what Nave said. Yeah, life. What is consciousness? It's going to make me sound really I'm weird, but even weirder. I was sat the other day on my break at work, and there were ants, and they were doing their little march, all in a line, and then another one was coming back in another line and disappearing down a hole, and I'm thinking, what are those ants actually thinking? Is there any form of consciousness there?
Probably not.
But what makes consciousness?
Well, that's the morphic resonance theory by Rupert Sheldrake. That consciousness and your ability as an individual animal, whether that be the ant or a rhinoceros, their animal traits that they do comes from a resonance. They sort of tune it in. So it's I'm trying hard to explain it a little bit better. People's animals' ability to do what animals do, and when you see birds, a flock of birds all going in unison and go off in one direction, how do they know to do that? one of these will go off in different parts.
Yeah.
I'm not explaining myself very well here because
no, it's like it's inbuilt. They're hardwired to do it, aren't they?
Yeah.
The same way as a mother would instinctively know how to feed a child, or that they would know how to do that. But I think it boils down to the fact that is a creature self-aware? Is it aware of its environment?
Data, isn't it? I think, therefore I am.
Exactly. Yeah.
Recently, when I went to see a medium, Rose recently went to see a medium. As soon as I entered her house, my head started pounding, and I felt so ill. I couldn't be in the same room as her. First time this happened with me with a medium. I mean, I'd like to know people why. No, that's another question. I'm just interested to know why people would want to go and see a medium. I know usually it's for maybe just lost a loved one or something like that. Totally understandable. But why you really would want to go and see a medium and pay money for it? I'm not belittling mediums here now. I know loads of good mediums. I'm just interested to know why. I haven't got an opinion either way, really. We'll have a little bit.
Well, if they have got if they have lost a loved one, it's
that I understand.
But they feel comforted by it. Hopefully, get that piece of information that reinforces to them that there is something beyond, that our energy does go on. So it helps with the grieving process. I suppose.
Yeah, I know that. No, that's what I said. That I know that. I just don't know. I'd just like to know why. What? Okay. I remember the subject for another show. I think.
The medium.
I think I'm fascinated by mediumship. I'm absolutely fascinated by it. That's why it's probably the subject I'm interested the most.
Yeah, but it's been subverted into something nasty, hasn't it? It's got such a bad rep because people have taken advantage of it and they've taken people for a ride.
It's got show busy.
Yeah, it's disgusting what they do. They actually take advantage of people that are grieving. And I'm not talking about all of them because, like I say, Mandy, I love her to death. And I think what she does is fantastic.
Mandy's not professional. Yeah, but Mandy's not a professional medium.
No, but she it's classed as somebody with mediumistic abilities. You would class her as that. But if you say that to someone, they're instantly going to lump her in with these stage mediums that are only in it for the fame and the money. And it's not fair. It's not fair. So,
I mean, I look at the audience, when I've been to some of them, when they played our theatre or whatever, and the audience is made up of pretty much the same kind of people. And I know I'm generalising here, which is wrong. I know. But I can only observe what I observed from quite a few occasions. But I'm not going to say what kind of audience they are because I'll get myself into trouble. We forget what we know when we're born. Can you explain that further? We forget what we know when we're born.
Well,
do you mean we're coming from the ether? Our spirit is eternal. But when we come into the bodily existence to live a human life, to experience taste, smell, all that kind of thing, we start afresh. Is that what you mean, Sally? What time do you call this, Julia? Come along. Nice to see you, my darling.
I don't know if Sally is going down the route. Put me right if I'm talking rubbish.
That's what you were saying now. Yeah, I saw a medium the other way on my late son's birthday. It was a great comfort. Well, that's what it's all about. But interesting. Especially with something with a trauma like that. Must be very, very hard. Because one thing me and Gary were talking about, we personal experiences should be personal experiences. We're never ever here to take people's personal experiences away from them. I think that's not healthy. The vanishing twin womb experience is something little talked about. I've vaguely heard of that, where twins are in the womb, one dies, and the surviving twin and orbs the other. Apparently, it's more common than we're aware of. Okay, interesting. I'm sorry. Absorbs the. One dies and the surviving twin absorbs the other. I haven't heard of that. That's very interesting. Have you heard of that, guys?
No, I haven't. I haven't heard of that. To look into that.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Very interesting. So there wouldn't be another fetus. Okay. By the way, folks, I've got a bit of a lull here. We've got 24 watching. Please like, subscribe if you are watching and enjoying this. Very, very, very interesting. Yeah. Because ESP, Gary was saying about ESP earlier, it all sort of dwells into the same thing, isn't it? This kind of idea of psychic ability, you know, which the military have used in the past. What's it? Check it out, guy. I've not heard of that either. It's interesting. Read The Dark Half for a darker version of the Vanishing Twin thing, Stephen King. I don't read novels, I only read non-fiction. I'm back. Welcome back. You all right there, Gaz?
Yeah, I'm just researching something, mate, quickly.
I've got something else for you here. I mean, also, ESP comes into a lot with parapsychology, doesn't it? Hello, Nikki. I was a twin and my twin died. Oh, the best mediums have told me that which I never... The best mediums have told me of my twin, which I never tell anyone about. How interesting. I knew... Oh, my gosh. I did not know that, Nikki. We used to go out back in the 1980s, way years ago. I didn't know that. That's extraordinary. Has more than one medium told you that, or is it just one medium? That's very interesting. Bloody predictive tape. Yeah, we're going to do a full show on mediums. It's like we'll get some. I mean, the lovely one is still, you can watch it on playback. We did with Chris the other week. That was fascinating, absolutely fascinating.
I want to look into it a bit more. I mean, they do get a bad rep, and they're not all bad. They're not all bad, but there are some fakes out there that will take your money and not lose any sleep over it.
So I say, Nick, I find that really interesting. Yeah, more than when you get to double two mediums, I imagine not knowing each other and giving that information. That's really interesting. And my cousin had a twin sister. She had been absorbed by her during the first 2 months of pregnancy, but unfortunately, she doesn't talk about it. I don't know how much about the subject. Looks big for a female. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's a personal thing, isn't it? Again, a personal thing. Going back to the ants, I believe they are conscious, but they lack conscious thought. That's the difference, I think. Yeah, he's clever, isn't he? Yeah, they lack conscious thought.
Right. I'm going to play devil's advocate. This is such a minefield, this subject.
Isn't it? Isn't it? Absolutely.
Why don't we see ghost spiders or ghost... We hear about ghost dogs and maybe ghost cats.
Well, my latest video... Spiders. Yeah.
Or ghost ants, or ghost flies, or bees, or you know what I mean. There should be spirits of everything around us all the time.
What he said. So why don't we see them?
Why is it just that? Is it only a sentient thing? Is it something only a sentient being that can do? Someone that is self-aware, aware of its own environment? You know, is it only something we can do? Which begs the question, is a dog sentient? Is it aware of its own existence? Or
they say elephants can mourn over one of their flock that died. They live quite a long, I think pretty much the same as human lifespan. But they sort of mourn. It's been observed.
When was the last time you heard of a ghost elephant?
Exactly.
I mean, get it.
And the big one, although I have sort of mentioned my theory on this, about where's all the ghost dinosaurs? But I said things about that thing about playing that the energy dissipates after a while, and that's 65 million years ago. But the cavemen, where are they? It's very, very interesting. That's
a fair point, actually, Mandy. You don't know, do you? I mean, we all we've got our idea of what a ghost is and when we would see it. We could be walking past one down the street every day and we wouldn't know because it looks just like a person. Or
good point.
So.
And reincarnation, I'm very interested in reincarnation. Some fascinating stories out there, especially from children who have talking about past lives they would not know anything about. Yeah. We're going now, chaps. We all have. Oh, yeah, you're an hour ahead, aren't you, in Croatia? Thanks very much, babe.
Cheers, Andrew. Thanks for joining us, mate. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, very much so. There's so much more people can do. If spiders were ghosts, my house would be full of them. That's a very good point. I think, what we've just mentioned there, Gaz, and I and Mandy, and it's not something to be sort of laughed off. Why don't we see them?
Perhaps, perhaps we don't see cavemen. Mind you, we've said this before as well, haven't we? Is it the difference between what is a ghost and what is a spirit? A ghost, we've heard the stories about Roman soldiers and things like that. People have seen a Roman soldier or something of that age. But was that a ghost? Was that a playback? Was that some kind of magnetic recording that is caught in the rock or whatever and plays back over a certain set of conditions? And spirits have only got a certain amount of time to linger on this earth, so maybe they've only got 200 or 300 years. I don't know, which is why we don't see cavemen or whatever.
No, I think that's a good point, mate. That's a good point. I say once again, if it's just a ghost in a recording, then I think, the energy must dissipate over time. Even if it's like a violent on a battlefield or something, that energy doesn't last forever. Like plane trails, it eventually disappears. Spirit, I'm just talking about ghosts here. I'm not talking about spirit. That's totally different. Really, that's something. Actually, ghost and spirit actually are quite different things.
Totally different. Yeah,
people get that mixed up all the time. A ghost is just a recording, I imagine. The spirit's like that's what you can communicate with. Yeah,
a spirit is a consciousness, whereas a ghost is just a film. It's like you're watching something on TV. It's the
Wookiee Hole caveman you saw. But did you think?
I thought the witch was in Wookiee Hole.
That's just some stones that have been put together. It's natural formation, but it looks like a witch was petrified. Not petrified as in, petrified as in turned to stone.
It's one of my favourite places, Wookiee Hole.
Yeah, I love it. Doctor Who, Revenge of the Cybermen was filmed there in 1975.
Was it?
Yeah. Maybe what we see aren't spirits, they're just something from dimension we can't perceive properly yet. And so maybe the energy of ants and dogs, etc., are there, but we just can't see them. Now we're going once again. What you've just said, Nath, what Mandy was just saying, it's frequency again and vibration. The reason we might not see them, although they are there, is because of the vibration. We've only got very limited vision with our horrible, useless eyes, which are actually.
Well, it's like we were saying before about sight, weren't we? We only see a very, very tiny part of the spectrum of light. That spectrum is going on all around us. X-rays, gamma rays, ultraviolet, infrared. It's all happening all around us. But we only see a very, very small part of it. So what we think the Earth looks like, it doesn't look like that at all. It looks completely different, but we only see it from a certain part of the spectrum. And maybe that's the same for dimensions. We can only interact in this dimension that we can see, that we actually experience. So maybe there's many, many, many more dimensions going on out there. And as this vehicle breaks down, as our consciousness is let free, it moves to another dimension. So,
Wookiee Hole, by the way, I haven't been there for about 12 years.
Cheese. The cheese, Sally. I love Wookiee Hole cheese.
We did a paranormal filming a paranormal not investigation, little investigation at Frankie Howard's house with David Wells, used to be on Most Haunted. Amazing, lovely area. That was I should edit that together, really. Jamie Boy, this is interesting. What about ghosts of steam engines? You never see them on the railway lines, and most lines have been around for 2 centuries when steam was all used. You do see phantom cars and things like that, so why don't you see that? It's another great point. Another great point. Gibbs says, Gibbs says, but maybe we see ants and spiders and don't realize they are ghosts because they can be anywhere at any time. Yep, spider in my bedroom. I'll simply call one of my kids to get rid of it. An unexpected man in my bedroom will be a different situation altogether. No. I hope that doesn't ever happen. But yeah, it's a very good point. It's very good points. When we're just going about our daily lives, you're looking at something, you don't even give it much thought. How do you know that's not really there? But it is there, if you know what I mean.
Well, some of the most impressive ghost sightings have happened in broad daylight, haven't they? The
absolutely.
Reported ones. What was the one at the castle in London, Mark, where this woman flung open the double doors, dressed in period costume?
I don't know that one.
Is it the Tower of London?
I don't know that story at all. The one I thought was that's at Hampton Court.
Is it dressed in?
It's Hampton Court.
Queen Elizabeth I.
I don't know. I don't know that
I'll
story.
have to find it. I'll have to have a look at
It's
it.
always a famous person, isn't it? It's always a famous person. Yeah, the one at Hampton Court, where the doors are, that's been debunked quite a few times.
Oh, it has. Oh, right. I didn't read the debunk thing.
Why do you think that's it's quite good footage? Don't get me wrong. Caught on a CCTV camera, but it's been debunked.
But that's the paradox, isn't it? If you've got really good footage of something, people just jump on it straight away and say it's shit. Yeah. So if you've got a fuzzy image, it's a bit more interesting.
Yeah. Going back to the conscious Apple idea, our whole understanding of the universe and time is limited by the fact we only perceive 3 to 4 dimensions.
That's right.
Yeah.
And how many are we talking now?
You've made me think. How
many have they hypothesized? 10 dimensions at least?
Yeah.
10.
I think it's probably a lot more than that.
And my brain won't let me understand that because I'm used to length, breadth, depth, the 3 dimensions.
Going back to, you need something to measure. And we're dealing with stuff you can't measure, which is where it gets,
that keep you awake at night, that one, definitely. 10 dimensions, how does that even...
Oh, God.
That's just going to cause a massive brain fart for me. That's just not going to happen. No.
Mind you, Guildford is a big ghostly place, yeah. My friend does the Guildford Ghost Tours, Philip Hutchinson. It's interesting. We can measure what we can't perceive. We can't measure what we can't perceive. That's a quote if I ever heard it. Well, I'm always going, that's a really I might write that down and use that. We can't measure what we can't perceive.
We don't know how to measure it. We haven't got. No. We don't know what we would need to measure exactly. So yeah. No, my brain won't let me understand that sort of stuff, Nath. I'd love to. I'd love to be able to picture in my head what 10 dimensions would be like, but.
I mean, I don't think I'm quite, kind of bright blue, but something just goes. If I had my chance, I'd love to have studied astrophysics or something like that. But you need to know maths to do that, and I'm terrible at maths. I always keep an eye out for Anne Boleyn at Nonsense. Not seen it yet. But why would she be there, though? Why would a famous person out of a 500-year history have to be the most famous person? Although she didn't actually go to Nonsuch because Nonsuch is just around the corner from me. And fascinating. I must do a video from there, actually. That was finished after they had divorced and after King Henry VIII had died, so he never actually saw it in its full glory. I was at Send 2 weeks ago and stayed the night at my mate's house there. Oh, Send, it's over in Surrey. I'd like to go there at some point.
Send?
Yeah, it says a village called Send. There's 2 villages.
Oh, what's at Send?
Yeah, what's at Send?
What is at Send? I've never even heard of Send.
It's a village.
Oh,
near Woking. Near Woking. I want to understand it, but I don't have enough room in my head, which is already pretty large. If you could define the dimensions, one could study them. Yeah. How big is that dimension, though? Are some dimensions smaller than others? That's another thing, Pocket universes.
I get 2 dimensions on a paper. I get 3 dimensions. But anything more than that, it's just like your brain won't let you understand it because it's not used to it, I suppose. But
I will do a video. I've actually done a video there already, Sally. Actually, I'll do a fresh one. It's a big prison is at Send, is it? The only prison I know of in Surrey is the one round the corner at Downview in top of Sutton. Okay, didn't know there was a prison there. Send Women's Prison and Clarendon House burned. Oh yeah, we did. Mandy and I and a couple others went to Clarendon House 2 years ago. One summer, amazing place. Send has a nice church I visit. Yeah, lots of fields, but nothing really special. I might have a look at that. I like me and old churches. I love old churches. Cool, interesting.
That's right. All the old ruins, mate. I love them.
Oh, love it. Well,
perhaps it's to do with ESP, mate. The reason why I love them.
Yeah, lovely day.
Energy. Could be.
Lovely day at Church Clarendon. One of our vlogs. Yes, if you can search for it on my channel, Clarendon House, it's on there. Also, the new video from Betworth Castle is now just gone live on my YouTube channel. If you want to watch that, with Mandy being rather brilliant, opening up psychically. It's really good, Mandy. 18 minutes long. It's a bit of an epic video with Kerry as well, Alfie, and your son Max. So yeah, that's just I'll link you all when we come off here. Yeah, it's been very interesting investigation that was. We want to go back there sort of when it gets a bit darker and a bit quieter and do a few sessions. Lord Cranley Onslow's gaff. Onslow, yeah, because Onslow Village in Guildford, isn't it? Apparently, an episode of Catweasel was filmed at the church in Send. Yes, I think you're right about that. Yes, I think it wasn't far from Shepperton Studios where it was made. Gaz, you have to come to Betchworth too. Yes, he does have to come to Betchworth.
Will do, definitely.
It's really good night, that. Really good night.
Yeah, I've got to get back on the horse as far as investigating goes. It's been too long.
Yeah.
I think it's probably been too long for a lot of people, actually, with lockdown and all that crap. But
yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I think so. It's nice that everyone's starting to sort of get back out now. I just want to go abroad. I just want to go to Florida.
I don't know, mate. I just
I love traveling.
Full of foreigners, and I like this country.
Oh, I love this country, but I like to travel as well. You know, I like to see other places. I know I go to Florida a lot. We will call that, but I don't. I'm going off subject a bit here. I don't go to the theme parks or anything like that. I go off tangent. Florida Keys, St. Augustine, you know, places like that. Key West. Oh, it's rough down there. If we could only perceive two dimensions, with time being the third, it would be impossible to understand the three-dimensional universe as we understand it now.
Yeah, good point, Nate.
Yeah, Dr. Quantum. If you see What the Bleep Do We Know, which is a bit of a controversial film from 2004 about law of attraction, all that kind of thing, but there's a nice sequence in there that does explain two dimensions quite well, actually.
But we try and make sense of the world around us by what we see and what we hear, what we experience.
Yeah.
But the simple fact is that we don't know what we don't know.
No, exactly.
The way that we viewed the world 100 years ago is totally different to how we view it now. And our understanding of physics and the universe and how the universe works is completely different. And what we know now will be different again in another 100 years.
It's a continually evolving process. Of course it is.
We know nothing. We know absolutely nothing. And that gets back to what we were talking about at the start of the show with the Fermi paradox and things like that. We have limited our brain to say that nobody could travel here because nothing can travel faster than light, and these planets and these stars are thousands of light years. That's with our understanding of how physics works.
Yes.
Their understanding of how it works is 1,000 or 1,000,000 years ahead of ours. So we are very limited in our understanding of how the universe works.
Yeah, What the Bleep is an amazing film. That's where I first found out about Dr. Joe Dispenza, who I've studied quite a lot over the years. The dangerous part of science is when we believe we know it all. I don't think people would. I don't think any scientist would say we know it all. Because it's ever an evolving thing, isn't it? But it would be dangerous. Because then. Oh, sorry, pardon me, Nathan. Then we may stop searching for more. It's always evolving.
We don't know. We're in the infancy, really, of understanding of universe and things like that. It's an exciting time. It really is.
Absolutely. We're in the birth of it. Just think, right? Okay, here we go. From the Wright brothers in 1906, was it 1904? First powered light. Only 60
something. Yeah.
Only 60 odd years later, they put man on the moon. That is the equivalent, of pretty much today going back in time when Thunderbird started, on the Beatles started. It's absolutely extraordinary how much we've come. And modern science really did kick in the 1920s when quantum theory was sort of discussed and then became a science. Then in the 1960s, with the Higgs boson being discovered and theorized, and that was proved to be a thing. Quantum waves, gravitational waves recently, seeing those pictures of a black hole finally. What can happen in just another 50 years is extraordinary.
But the quantum theory is just a way of trying to... It sounds really weird. Most of what we know about science, or what we think we know, is all speculation and all hypothesis and things. and they've come up with quantum theory to answer a lot of awkward questions, and they do answer a lot of awkward questions. The problem is there are odds with what Einstein said. A lot of it is at odds with Einstein's general theory of relativity, that kind of stuff. But it is, see, my brain won't allow me to understand it. I don't know why. Right? It goes against everything because I'm a child of the 70s. I was brought up.
Same here, yeah.
You know, so this way of thinking isn't natural to me. Like, and if you want to know exactly what I'm talking about, look on YouTube for the double slit experiment, and you'll know exactly what I mean. It will just.
Still can't get my head around that.
Pretty rudimentary in quantum mechanics, you know, and my brain won't let me understand that.
No, it's hard, really hard.
Yeah, it's basically saying that things act differently when you're looking at them, when you're observing them. They act in a different way. But how does that thing know that you're watching it? Double slit experiment. Have a look. You'll know what I'm on about. Yeah. And it just doesn't make any sense, but it's hypothesized that is real. So.
Yeah, I have an idea. Let's try the Zener experiment. You two, Max, Kerry, Al, and me, to see what happens. Yeah, can I film that? That'd be interesting until you have proof of it. I'd love to do that. I'll order some from
definitely Mandy.
I'll order some from Amazon. Great idea, Mandy. Great idea.
Yeah, we'll pile around Mandy's and do a show from there.
We'll do it pissed. Again, we are fledgling towards and AI could be our undoing. Yeah. I'm not too. I think it doesn't bother me the slightest. Not something I really think about, or engaged a lot of over the years. Half of everything we know has been learned in the last 50 years. Yeah. Incredible, isn't it? We live in, you know, look at the negative of the world. I try not to, but we actually live in quite exciting times.
Yeah, I think the problem we've got is that
don't get started on Schrodinger's cat, as mine will blow as well as mine.
No, I can't cope with that, mate.
No.
I think the problem we've got is that we are because we are like children, a lot of us at the moment, well, the whole planet is like children, we are more preoccupied with the question, can we do it, than should we do it? And that will be our downfall, where we will do it regardless, just to prove that we can, and sod the consequences. So
Jeff Goldblum's speech in Jurassic Park there, you just did a Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, did I? Sorry.
Yeah, your scientists were all preoccupied in thinking if they could do it. They didn't start to think if they should.
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum.
Well, it's right, isn't it? They should think more. They should think more about it.
Yeah. Einstein hated quantum theory. Yeah, he did, didn't he? What did he call it? Especially because the double slit experiment seemed to prove consciousness plays a part. Schrodinger's cat experiment was created just to prove Einstein right. Love.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, what did he call quantum? I can't remember. You guys will know. What did Einstein call quantum theory?
I can't.
Stringy stuff. I can't remember.
Well, quantum doesn't make sense. It makes absolutely no sense that, like string theory, for instance, that a particle here sitting on my computer here does something, and that will affect a particle over the other side of the universe.
I know.
At exactly the same time. It's that string theory, and it just doesn't make sense, but it does at the same time, and it answers a lot of questions. So yeah,
Dr. Quantum's double. That's from the What the Beat Do We Know movie, which I really recommend. We've turned into a science show. 90% of what we knew from the pre-industrial times has been forgotten. Has it? I suppose, because those needs aren't needed anymore the way we did things. That's a good point. Thank you, Nate. Spooky action at a distance. That's what Einstein used to call quantum. Yeah, spooky action at a distance. We're thinking that next month will be 40 years since the first episode of Only Fools and Horses was shown on TV. Oh, the unfunniest sitcom ever. Oh, did I just call sacrilege? I just don't get Only Fools and Horses. I really don't. But comedies.
I can't talk to you anymore.
I'm sorry, mate. I
can't. Anybody that doesn't like Only Fools, no. I'm sorry, mate.
I'm a curb your enthusiasm. No, mate. I've known you since 2007. I can't leave.
I can't cope with that. How can you not like that?
I just find it dull as dishwater. Just don't find it funny. I mean, it's very popular. I'm in the minority. It's just not my thing.
Oh my days, we can't be friends anymore now.
Okay, we won't be if you say you watch Mrs. Brown's Boys or something like that.
No, don't watch that. No, I don't watch that.
I'm a Curb Your Enthusiasm kind of person. I like sort of dark comedy. Mark Howard. Oh God, I'm getting.
You get slated now, mate. That's it.
I like great comedy, 40 Towers. But yeah, no, I'm not saying Only Fools Horse isn't bad. Of course, it's not. It's popular. It's great. It's fun. But I just balls the hell out of me. I've turned over it on and off. Nate says, here we go.
I was just reading that.
Here's a strange fact that blew my mind today. A speck of dust is the halfway point inside between an atom and the moon.
Yes.
Hold on, I've got to get my head around it. There's a strange fact. A speck of dust is the halfway point in size between an atom and the moon. That is wow. That's my next chat up line. Do you know what, darling? That's actually serious. That is really
halfway point. Hang on, I'm trying. Oh my God, I'm having a brain fart. Right, halfway point in size.
Oh man, Nath, why are you doing this before the end of the show? My head's now going to hurt.
I think you got to word it a bit better, Nath, because I get what you mean, but it's yeah. Word it a bit different.
Yeah. Yeah, Mandy agree. Yeah, absolute drivel.
Yeah, that annoys me, that program. Yeah. But yeah, we've gone all sciencey, and do you know why we've gone sciencey? Because somewhere along the line, as this show, we're basically trying to find a middle ground between what people consider paranormal and science, and there has got to be a point where those two gel, as David Brent would go.
The Office.
Yeah.
So I listen to Ricky Gervais and Cole Pilkington probably every day, one of their podcasts. It just makes me laugh. But yeah, I think that, and also Gav and I love science as well. Although I would say sometimes our heads can't quite match up. And I think there will be a correlation. There will be a correlation. But there are scientists who do look into these things and are willing to risk their careers. Say, well, no, this needs studying. This needs studying. I hate it when people just say, for example, ghosts don't exist. Well, what research have you done to come to that conclusion? You know, I mean, there are as many atoms. That means there are as many atoms in a speck of dust as the amount of specks of dust you could fit into the moon. Are you a college professor, Nate? What's up?
It's cool, mate. It's love none. I mean, we used to think that the smallest thing was an atom, didn't we?
Yeah. Now we know it's not.
We know it's not. But I can't get my head around how small.
Probably hasn't finished yet. Yeah.
How small it actually is. It's incredible. But it's mostly space. If you have got is it like an electron?
Yeah. Making
up a particle. Most of it is empty space. It's all empty space. And this is what science couldn't get its head around. The mathematics of the universe just didn't add up. There's too much empty space for the movement of the universe. What is going on? It didn't add up.
No.
So they had to come up with this
conundrum. Yeah.
They had to come up with this theory of dark energy and dark matter, which is a whole different bloody thing, you know. And like I was saying, somewhere along the line, this has all got to come together. This has all got to add up. This what we experience.
He's frozen.
It has all got to add up because there's no doubt that.
Oh, he's gone. He's broken up. Thank goodness for that. Didn't he go on? God.
What happened? Did we just get kicked off?
You froze, mate.
Yeah. No. Yeah, there has got to be a point.
In the comments about you. Oh, dude.
I get it. No, there has got to be a point where we know these things are happening. People are reporting them. Yeah, there is going to be some reports that are just downright bullshit. There are other reports where it's people are mistaken and there is a natural explanation. But there are other things that there is something what we would consider paranormal going on. And at some point, science has got to have an answer for that. And maybe this dark energy, these other dimensions, that is the answer. So, it's something worth looking into.
This blows my mind as well. One of my kids told me that today. So that didn't come from me. One of your kids told you about the atom. You got some smart kids. Mm-hmm. Wow. We are here for a flash of so-called time. Yup. Yeah. So it's nearly 10 to 10. Let's start wrapping up soon.
It's gone quick, isn't it? It's gone quick.
It's been a really good show. Really good
what did
show.
We say we was going to talk about next week? We was going back to the ghosty stuff.
Ghosty and that kind of thing. I love it. I do like it when we get onto science. So I know we keep talking about science. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to talk about EVP at some point. But yeah, I think we'll probably go back into ghosties next week.
Yeah, we need to do... We need to do an EVP show, but we need to figure out how to put the clips on so that people can actually hear them.
All I need to do is make a video clip of the clip. That's fine.
That's easy.
It's weird. I can't do simple like put in an image, but I can play video clips, but not an image. I don't understand that.
I think it'll be interesting to do a little experiment actually to play the clip.
Yeah.
And then people tell us what they think they hear.
Oh yeah.
Play a clip.
We've mentioned this before, haven't we?
Say what we think it says and see if people can hear the same thing, because that's what they do on these shows.
Well, a nice lady sent me a load of EVP clips from her house in the last couple of weeks.
I've
got a couple from our, so I'll ask her permission if we can play them, and some of our ones as well. And as you quite rightly say, we're not going to say what people are saying. People might say I'm not hearing anything. That's why I get annoyed with these paranormal people, and they put captions straight away, implanting a thought in your head of what you think, and you can't get that thought out of your head. That's bad. That's bad practice.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another fact for you. We have never physically touched anything. Yes, I do know this. We are made of atoms, and atoms can't touch. Yeah, we physically have never touched anything. Extraordinary, isn't it? Yes, Mandy. Yes, reincarnation.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I'll put that on for maybe the show after, the Sunday after. That's a fascinating subject. I know a little bit about that. Yeah,
we'll look into that, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. EVP. We will go back to UAPs because Gaz and I are very much interested in that as well.
Well, it's the subject of the minute, isn't it? It's there's stuff happening all the time with it, and it's exciting times as far as that goes, I think. But next week we'll go back to our roots and we'll talk about a few famous cases. I know Mark's not into the cases as such.
No, I mean, it's not that.
More like personal experiences. You're more into,
I don't get bored with the cases. They're fascinating. It just doesn't like ball erection. I just don't really get off on it. I'm just like, I want to investigate because I want to experience something. And I think a lot of these famous cases have got so watered down over the years. And I've heard far more interesting tales from people in the street. That's why I've never really studied cases. It's as simple as that, really.
But we got, if you guys listening, if you want us to talk about something, a case, if you want us to research a case that you're interested in, then we can do that. Drop us a line and we'll talk about that next week. Or if you've got a personal experience,
please come on the show. If you don't want to type it and you're happy, come on the show. If you've got a webcam, come on the show.
Stop being cowards. Come and talk to us. We're not that bad.
Look, two great-looking guys here. Come on. Audrey Rose. Who's Audrey? Oh, is that? That rings a bell. Audrey Rose. I don't know more than that.
No, I know about
Thank you. There we go. The case I read about just made me more determined to try to experience something myself.
Audrey, hang on, I'm still stuck on Audrey Rose here.
Was it a movie?
No, that was something else, Rose, weren't it? That was it was American. I think it was taken from the Annalise Michel case, and they actually made a film
Oh, recognition film.
Audrey Rose movie with Anthony Hopkins. No, I've not seen that.
No, I don't even know of it. I thought it was a much sort of 1990s movie. Oh,
No.
here we go. I'm interested in running to. I know a story of a woman who recalled being a mother who died in 1933 who was abused by her husband in a previous life. So, yeah, so it's actually very interesting. Oh, here we go. Audrey Rose movie with Anthony Hopkins. Right, okay, I'll have to look into that. That's interesting. Up at 4:45. Great show. Oh, thank you, Sally.
Sorry, Sally. We'll keep you
my friend on Facebook.
We're going in a minute anyway. We're just waffling.
Oh, 4:40. That's early. Oh, that'll kill me.
No, I'm going to research that because I've not heard about that. So
yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if it's a movie with Anthony Hopkins, he's got to be good, isn't it?
Hello. Oh, I love his Instagram post. He's such a sweetheart. He's brilliant, Anthony Hopkins. Hello. Yes. So yeah. Anything you want to add, Mr. Gaz?
No. We'll keep coming up. We will get our quiz organised, and
that'd be great fun. That'd be a great
prize for you. No, we're going to do a paranormal quiz and see how good you guys really are. Yeah. But we are going to put some right stinker questions in as well, so you can't just Google all the answers. All right, and we'll come up with a prize that's worth having as well. Yeah. So next week, if you look at some cases, if you come across a case, I'm on Facebook, Mark's on Facebook. Drop us a line, drop us a message, and we'll look into it for you and talk about it on the show. Or if you're feeling really brave, come on and talk to us, please. Yeah. Please.
I'll just send you a link, and then I just invite you into the chat. So it'll be absolutely fine. I remember Anthony Hopkins playing Treves in The Elephant Man. I love The Elephant Man. Hello, please try and say hello. My name is John Merrick. Please repeat that. Right? Yeah. Great performance from John Hurt. Fantastic. I think that's a David Lynch movie. Hard to believe that's a David Lynch movie. He's one of my favourite directors. So yeah, guys, thank you very much. Please, if you enjoyed yourself, tell your friends, as Frankie Howes once said in Up Pompeii. And we'll see you next time. Anything you want to add, sir?
No, I just want to acknowledge the fact that you're a complete film geek. Properly a film geek. Yes, Naif, I am onto you. I know you're a Google buff as well. And it's just an absolute pleasure talking to you guys. Really, we are so chuffed that you spend your time, your precious Sunday nights with us. Please keep doing it, and come and talk to us, please. Please come and talk to us at some point. So yeah, that was it. Really,
you'll have to ban the clairvoyance from participating. That's in the quiz, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Some controls in place for that one, definitely.
John Hurt was a talented guy, yeah, very good. And, of course, was a Doctor Who, of course. Thank you very much. Cheers, good night. Well, thank you very much, guys, and we'll see you next week. And we'll be talking ghosties. It'll be really interesting tonight. Sometimes you don't know how the show's going to go.
Well, no, it's a subject that you know about, you've heard about, and you think, well, I'm never going to get a show out of that. But, the thing about our chats, they tend to go off in various tangents, don't they?
Yeah.
But it all links together. We start off talking about ESP, end up talking about science. But as I say, there's got to be a correlation somewhere between the two. So we've got to discuss all aspects of it, haven't we?
Yeah. Right. Well, thank you very much once again. It's good night from me.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Please come and join us, and you take care till then, guys. All right.
Have a good week, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye then.